Do a little research for a car I got coming up. Looked at it today for a brake check. He was concerned about the brakes. This is a blurry screen, 2000 BMW 528i. This is my printout. There's some discrepancies in service information and everything. It'll say like 1189 is bank 1, and this says bank 2. So I mean, now it's going to be coming back for the engine diagnostic, which looks like there's two separate issues. I think I did hear a vacuum leak on it, so that might be the 173 and 170, and his 455 and 440 might be his gas cap, because he's said that it's his son's car. He said that that's happened before, but that might be two separate issues. And for the ABS, he's concerned about the ABS because the ABS light's on. I checked his brakes. He's got plenty of brakes, but it's got right here, code 20, wheel speed sensor, front right, transmits implausible signals. So I look in here, I just throw in 20 and it just gives me like a bunch of codes. And what does it say? 20, wheel speed sensor, left front. So I'm going to check all data after this. I'm going to check all data. I'm just trying to get some code descriptions here, and it seems like I'm running into a brick wall so far. Yeah, I hate working on BMWs without service information, but see what I can do. It was no help, but I did find this. I guess I don't know if it's vehicle specific, but this also says left front. So we got that, and I couldn't find anything for the other two. I think 58. Did I find? I don't think I found 58. 76. I don't think 76 was in there. But let's see if I have anything here. 58. CAN error. Pre-charging pump. So I don't know here. And what's the other one? 76. Do we have a 76? Of course not. Of course not. All right, so I'm going to fart around some more. And all this other stuff, I don't even know what it is. This thing's not experiencing any issues. I drove it. It drives very good. But the check engine light's on, and a couple other stuff. I don't know what any of this is. We're not going to look at any of this stuff. Coolant temperature sensor, signal disturbed. He did have a radiator put in, and they really did a shitty job. They broke the shroud and everything, and the reservoir's zippy tied up to it. But yeah, I might have to take a look at that too. But some of those could be caused by that. Maybe the air conditioning as well. Under voltage, he said the battery was low at one point, so I'm surprised I don't have under voltage in every module with these things. I didn't erase any of them, which I, in hindsight, thinking after I already printed this out, I should have erased it for when he comes back in a couple days, so I can see what comes back. But yeah, that's my fault for doing that. But so far, I can't find any info on this stuff, and yeah, I figured I'd get ahead of the game and just check out a couple of these things, and if it was easy enough to find some information on the wiring diagrams or whatever. I can't even find proper code descriptions at this point. Maybe I'll try the Altel when it comes back. I'll try the Snap-on. Not much information online. They call that the Trifecta or whatever. I used two different scan tools. The first scan tool was the the Think tool, and it gave me code 20 for, I forget the description. It was either the right or the left front wheel sensor. 58, which I couldn't find information on. I might have found something, but I can't, off the top of my head, I can't remember what it was, but I was going through forums to try to find it. And 76, which is like a pump, pre-charge pump. I had to wait till the car came back. The car came back today because I was just checking it out. I just did a pre-scan on it yesterday, and then he dropped it off today to have it diagnosed. So I hooked up the Snap-on, and it had totally different codes. It had 3288 and 130 or whatever it was. I erased them, and 32 came back, which is right front wheel speed sensor. Here are my wheel speed sensors. Put it in gear, and I'm just going to drive. Up here is left. It's the front left, and this is the rear left. This is the left wheel speed sensors, and I think there's a way to switch them, but that's the front and that's the rear, but that's the right side of the car. So I'm taking off, driving now, and it's hard to see with the screen. Wish I had the newer version of the Veris that had the better screen, but I think you can make it out. You can see that the right front wheel speed sensor, which is this one, there's no movement. So fortunately, I also have on the same side, front side, I have to do a control arm on that, which the part has not arrived yet. It's supposed to be here around 2 o'clock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the car up, inspect the sensor and everything, make sure it's not a tone wheel or I don't, I just can't throw a part at it. He declined the engine diagnostic at the time because he needed the control. The control arm's pretty bad. He was more worried about the brake system, the control arm, and he's got a bent rim that he has to get repaired. But this thing runs absolutely great. Let's go on ABS wheel speed sensors, component information. All right, so I'm going to fart around in here for a little bit. All right, here's some information, good information. So when I get down there, I'll check, make sure I have voltage I'm supposed to have. What is it? Pin 2 right here is supposed to be 8-volt reference. So I will check, make sure I have that. And that's pretty much it, Tech notes, wheel speed sensors rarely fail on BMWs. If there is a fault, check the signal from the sensor as well as the wiring and the connectors. Also check the proper gap, correct input voltage, etc. before. It would be nice if it told you a gap. Signature test, that's what it would look like on the scope. Want to get right to it, I got to check this wheel speed sensor. It had a code 32, which is the front right. This side has to come apart because I'm replacing control arm too. Hopefully it's just a wheel speed sensor. You never know. I got to check, make sure I have proper voltages and signal and all that good jazz. Just so I have more access. This wheel is also bent, so I'm hoping the bearings okay as far as no damage to the reluctor ring or anything. I'm going to be putting a spare. He's got a full-size spare, so I'm going to put a full-size spare on there to deal with that. Today I'm just using my U-scope, little simple guy. I'm hooked up there for my ground. Best place would be the battery, but this will do. And I'm on a hill here, so it's kind of hard to do this. This is where the connector is. Okay. Cool. It's got two pins back there. I do have, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Maybe I can, well, one of them's supposed to have 8 volts. The key is on. All right, let me back probe, hopefully. Hopefully it's just the sensor. One side's a bias voltage of 8 volts. I don't really want to disconnect this yet, but I'm not getting anything. That's not good. Let me check my tool, make sure my tool is reading. I'm not getting 8 volts. Should have 8 volts on one of them. I'm going to take a break for a second. But it's got aftermarket headlights in it. Somebody did the radiator and destroyed this thing. It is touching it a little bit. You can hear it. There was coolant on this yesterday. It's zippy tied on. I think this is like $40 on Rock Auto, or 50, 60 bucks, whatever. It's all busted here. But yeah, it's got aftermarket. I don't know what that is. But I want to find a place to check my tool, make sure my tool is working right. Maybe I'll just go on the other side and check that sensor, because I kind of wanted to do that too, just to have a baseline. Okay, I got some direction now. Just a brief overview of what I've been doing. Just having some weird stuff going on. I wasn't getting anything when I look up inside the snap-on tool, and even in service information it tells me I should have 8 volt reference. I don't have an 8 volt reference. I only have an 8 volt reference for a split second when I cycle the key. Now this side works. So when I cycle it, I'll try to get that, I'll try to hook the oscilloscope back up and do that real quick. On this one, it works. All right, but this side, I don't get the 8 volt pulse. So what I wanted to try to do is, it's not what I tried to do, it's what I did. If I disconnect both front wheel sensors, I'll get a code 32, which is this side, and a code 33 for that side. So, and it's repeatable. When I hook that back up, I still only get the 32. So what I did was I hooked that sensor into this plug that goes to the ABS module. All right. And when I cycled the key, I cleared the codes, and then I cycled the key. Both codes came back up. So that's telling me that either the wiring integrity is bad on this one, or it's got a bad module. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reverse it, and just to make sure that the sensor is good. That's where I'm at with this so far. So I'm going to do the switch. What should happen is leave that open, disconnect it, and I should get just this side code using this sensor. So that would verify that this sensor is good. Okay, now I have them swapped over, and I'm going to do this. See, I got, that's right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear the codes. No codes present. I'm going to cycle the key. And hopefully code 32 is the only one that comes back. If code 32 comes back, that will verify that that sensor is good. So it won't be a sensor problem. Yep, 32. Okay, so now I have to check between module and that connector. And it's either a module or the wiring. Must have just been a bad connection. I don't even know if you can see that. You can see there's a little bit of, I'm in the signal right now, so I'm spinning the right front wheel. And that's hooked into the left front connector. So that's good. The other side don't do that. This has a signal generator. So I might actually put a signal into this and disconnect it to try to figure out which one is which wire. It's kind of, can't really get good pinouts. I'm going to take another look and see if I can find something, but those are my wires, these ones right here. So it's really not, when it comes in right there, I don't know if you can see that. Let's see, right there, right where I'm touching, and it's nice and blurry. But that's where that ties in right here. See if I can wiggle it. Right there. See, that's where it ties in. Hopefully it's a wiring issue. So I don't know if it goes anywhere else. I'm hoping it just goes from right there right into here. It doesn't do some goofy stuff where it goes, who knows, it's European stuff. Just going to run a signal through down there, and I'll just pick it up here, and then I'll be able to see which wire is which. Okay, here's my setup. I have going into the yellow wire there, which I forget which one that is, but the yellow wire and frequency generator. And the yellow one is, it's a pair. It's the yellow with the blue with the yellow striper right there. Those two. So I've already counted. It's the 6th one in. So let me hook this up right quick. Put a pin in here. The 6th one. There's a pin for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm front pinned there. All right. You can see I got a signal generation. Okay. So this freaking thing constantly self-adjusting. So that tells me that the yellow wire is good. Okay, so now I'm going to switch it over to the blue wire. I don't know if that's just backfeeding from the signal generator there. And I believe it's the 5th one. Yeah, it's the 5th one. So I'm going to move it over one. Oh, that sucks. That sucks. That means that the module's bad. This needs an ABS module. That's the diagnosis. Bummer. I was hoping it was just a wire. Okay, so I don't know what the availability of a ABS module for 2000 is, but this has already been replaced. This is looks like a junkyard unit. Needs an ABS module. Wonder how much that costs for a BMW. Calling it quits for the day. I'll do the control arm tomorrow. But I cleared the codes, hooked everything back up the way it should be, and cycled the key, turned it on, and then I got that 88 code again, which is the pre-charge. So I just cleared it again, cycled the key, and I want to see if it comes back. That's probably module related. I originally had that, and I thought it was like a history code or something. You can hear that water pump running the whole time. So you can see there's and they really did a hell of a job on this when they did this radiator. But I've come in here, I want to check my codes again. Oh, weird. Now it's just a pre-charging pump. That is very suspicious. I wonder if that solder joints in there are messed up to the point where, since I had that connector off, don't know. Oops. Little plastic thing. And so let's try it again. I don't know if I cleared that or not. I might have to, I'm not sure if I cleared that. So I'm going to clear it, cycle the key, and a pre-charge pump, huh? It's just very weird that the wheel speed sensor code is gone. Pre-charge pump. All right. I'll take a quick look into that. I don't want to put too much into that. This module is no good. No bueno. I did do a drag test on all the pins, and they all felt the same. Okay. Well, I'm calling it quits for the day, and I'll check that out tomorrow after I do the control arm on it. All right, I got the Pico set up. I just wanted to make sure that this pump was working because I'm getting a code for the pump. But in doing so, I found out that my probe that I haven't even used yet, it's the first time I ever used it, TA496, doesn't even work. I got it hooked up. I did have it over here. I tried it in every single one. So I hooked my big guy up, and I'll wait for the screen to come by real quick. I'll just restart it, and I will. We're both hooked up. Come on. Nothing. I got the right probe selected. Regardless of probe, I think it should still work anyway. But well, this proves that the pump works. So, alright, so this thing is kind of kicking my butt here. Just the service information is all messed up. The wiring is kind of like weird. I finally did locate the pre-charge pump. It's actually over here. I have the connector disconnected. It's right. That's hard to turn that on. It's right down there. Let's see if I can get a better view of it. That's the connector. I got a 5 amp test light in there. Right here. I'm touching it right there. Alright. So, I'm still calling the module. I just wanted to make sure that the pump being bad wasn't a problem. The only thing I want to do now is I want to pass some current through these wires, and I want to make that test light light up. It's only 5 amps I'm not exactly sure how many amps that pump draws. This pump was, when I put it on the oscilloscope, I think it was averaging, I don't know, 3 to 7 amps. So that's kind of like 5 amps, you know, like right around 5 amps. So that should be enough, at least to satisfy the wiring, I'm hoping. For the pre-charge pump, it's these two here. Black with the green and the black with the red. I'm sorry, black with the brown. So after that, after I make sure that those wires can accept some current, I'm going to talk to the customer because this is bad, but I want to try to open this up and see if I can resolder some stuff. This is already a junkyard unit. I guess I have nothing to lose at that point. This pump works, I know that, but I need to check the board, see if I have bad connectors here, and I still want to check the board for the wheel speed sensor, because that's no longer an issue, but I've had this off and on for a couple times, so that issue is no longer coming up. I don't know if there's a crack in the board or not. So hopefully I get the approval and I can open this up and I can resolder and test it just to see what happens. Maybe I'll charge them. Maybe I'll do it as an experiment, and if the experiment doesn't work, I won't charge them, because I really don't know. I can't find much info particularly specifically for this. I just want to know what I'm going into before I open it up. But I can take this off without disturbing the hydraulic system, which is good. So take this off, cut open the top, and leave it into the customer's hands at that time. Another thing to note, I was trying to use my low amps probe. This is a BNC Plus. Pico 7 is just a pain in the butt, so I don't even use it. So Pico 6, this amp clamp actually will not work on Pico 6. So I used the big guy here. This is a BNC Plus as well, but that one worked. So I used that one, and I also used this one just to make sure that like I wasn't going crazy. These both work. This one does not work on Pico 6, which is a bummer. I would rather use Pico 6 than Pico 7. Yeah, I don't know what to do about that. Got my power probe hooked up. Old guy here. I don't really use power probes all that often, but the green. Hold on, let me unhook that for a second. The black with the green is the positive, and the black with the brown is the negative. I got the negative in with the black with the brown. I got my test light wired in. It's about 5 amps. So right now I got continuity. That means that my circuit's complete. I'm reading that straight through the bulb there, and then I'm going to activate it. It works. So my wiring integrity is good. I don't want to do that. I don't want to break one of these tips. But my wiring integrity is good. Last thing I want to do is I actually want to hear the pump run, just the last part of it. Okay, I have the connector hooked up again. That's good, I got continuity. I might be drawing too much. I'm not exactly sure about that. I might be drawing. This thing doesn't put out all that much amperage. And I don't want to, I don't know if I feel comfortable with jumpering it. So. Half of an ohm. I don't like that. I don't know what the spec is, but half of an ohm is, that's pretty low. So I'm not sure what the resistance is, but I'm going to try to substitute maybe 3 amps, or I'm sorry, 3 ohms, something like that. 2 ohms. I just tested the ohms of this, and this is 1 ohm. So this is probably putting out a little bit more amperage than what I originally. That bulb died on me, so I replaced the bulb. I never rechecked. Just hook it right in. .1 ohms for this. So I have to check it. I have to reassess my amperage on that. But I want to substitute it with a different load. I'm going to go back to that, disconnect the connector, put my substituted load in there, and then see if my code goes away. Alright, I got a kind of a shitty Decade box, but I got everything off, and it's showing about 0.8. So I'm going to hit the 4 amp, 4.6, so it's about 4.5 ohms, I would say, right? And I think that'll be good enough to see what happens, see if I can get that code to go away. Maybe a different code will come up. All right, I got another meter. It's nice to have a couple meters. I just want to check the amount of resistance that's coming through it, just to be 100% sure I'm not going to cause any more damage before I hook this up. And come on. Am I hooked up here? What's going on here? Oh, I got it on. Stupid. Thought I had it on ohms there, but I didn't. Let's do this again with the right setting. Four to five ohms. Okay. And the key is off. And I'm going to hook this up. Okay. See what happens. Oh, look at that. ABS lights went out. Just that light. I just gotta reconnect. Alright, it's hooked back up. And I hate the screen. Clear the codes. And I'm going to actually cycle the key this time. It doesn't really matter. Every time I've done that, it didn't matter. So, cycle the key. Alright, put the key back on. Ooh, I almost started it. Alright, so Nope, pre-charge pump still coming up. I need to find some type of spec on that motor, or find another way to supply it power. I don't want to burn nothing up. Maybe that power probe just can't put out enough amperage. What I got here for my last test is I'm going through the wiring, through the harness, back into the pump, and I'm going to jumper it. And I just want to read, let me make sure I have this going in the right direction first. Yeah, I do. I want to read the amperage that this thing's pulling. I don't know a spec. Let me bring this down. Okay, so, oops. So I'm going to run the pump. The pump does run, which is good. Let me see here. Oops. So it runs. Let me get back on here again. So that's enough running for me. Really wanted to make sure that it wasn't something outside of the module before I called the module. So now I'm 150% sure that this module is bad. Got all that saved, and up around there is about 40 amps. I'm kind of like averaging in there. It's kind of where I, connected it and fell off, and then did the same thing, fell off. So it's right about there, and right around average is right around the middle of that there. It's about 32 amps. It doesn't sound crazy given the size of the wire. It's a pretty heavy gauge. There's black with the green, black with the brown. So I'm happy with that. Calling the module.